Now just a few notes about stereo when using this as a live mixer. Now we've seen the main outputs on this machine as stereo, but the 8 inputs are all mono. So this can cause some head scratching if you're new to all this. There are 2 things to watch. The first is that stereo, in the context of this tutorial, requires 2 signals, one for left and one for right. And this means you have to use 2 inputs. And therefore you'll need 2 cables with maybe some adapters for different size plugs. And you may also need a cable which splits into 2 if your device only has a combined stereo socket, like a computer or MP3 player. The second thing to remember is that the inputs you use for left and right need to be panned correctly in the mixer. And the default settings for all the pan controls is central. C for central, left, right. So if you do not change them, you'll just get a mono signal out of the machine instead of stereo. Now I'm going to use a stereo test signal where the left side is a steady tone and the right side is a pulsed tone. And this way you can just see the difference on the meters regardless of your video playback system. I've got the left signal plugged into input C and the right into D. So let's route them through the stereo bus like we did for the basic mixer. So we check all levels are down, go to assign, we do destination, then the source. Stereo select, source C and D. Back to the home screen, nothing on the meters. I'm sure you know why. I'm hoping to see some levels on this meter on the right, which is the monitor meter. So we need to make sure the monitor is monitoring stereo. And there it is. And we also need to turn the stereo fader up, which lets through the signal to the stereo output and to the monitor. And there we are, the 2 signals, which are supposed to be different. You can see both left and right are going up and down in unison. So unless you alter those pan controls, the signal will be mono. So which pan controls do you use? Well, it depends on the routing, and if you route them like this, you need to use the input pan controls. So we press source C and then pan to the left, source D and pan to the right. And now you can see the levels are separate, steady tone on the left, pulse tone on the right. So the output is now a faithful stereo copy of the input. Now if you route the inputs to mono tracks like we did for the advanced mixer, then you use the track pan controls. So let's try this. Levels down, assign, clear these assignments. We'll use tracks 7 and 8. So track 7, source C, track 8, source D. And there they are. Back to the home screen. Again, nothing on the meters, but you know why. We need to do rec on 7 and 8 to allow the signal through the track paths. Now you can see the signals are correct. The left and right are truly separate. And if we look at the stereo output, which, as you know, we have to turn up the track faders and the stereo fader and see the mix on the stereo output, and it is mono. So track pans, track 7, pan to the left, track 8, pan to the right. And there we are, stereo from the output. You can keep the mixer screen open while you do this, but we saw that before. You don't have to. And you have to make sure you pan fully to the right and fully to the left. If you only pan them part way, the width of the stereo field will shrink, and it will eventually shrink to a single point in the center of the speakers when the pan controls are central. And that's why you get mono if you don't pan anything. And if you mix up left and right, you'll just reverse the stereo field, although that could be handy in some cases. Okay, now we saw there were stereo tracks on this machine. So what if we route the two inputs to a stereo track? Okay, levels down. Back to the assign. Clear. So we'll use stereo track 13 and 14. So destination, source, C and D. And there we are. Back to the home screen. Nothing there because we've not pressed rec. And you can see the left and right signals are correct. Now if we turn the track fader up and go to the mix output, you can see they're still correct, so no panning is required when using stereo tracks. They keep left things to the left and right things to the right. The pan control still works for stereo tracks, but if you look in the mixer screen for track 13 and 14, you'll see its name has changed to reflect its different usage. It's now a balance control. If you try it out, you'll see the difference. If we go to the left, all it's doing is altering the relative levels of left and right. It's not actually moving the signal across. If you go fully to the left, you'll see the right hand side has dropped to 0. Go fully to the right. Now the left hand signal's gone. So it's different to the pan control, although the effect is similar. And the stereo illusion to your ears is that the whole stereo spread shifts, but it will squash up at the extremes. And finally, if you're using the two send outputs as a stereo send, again no panning is required, although you may need it for the returns. And you can see there's no pan control in the send path, it's just a level control. So to get a stereo send, you need send 1 from one half, say the left, and send 2 from the other. And note, you cannot use a stereo track to do this, as the two sends are both fed from an equal mix of both left and right sides. In other words, the stereo track signals are converted to mono before going to send 1 and send 2. So here's how to do it with two separate tracks. We'll use tracks 7 and 8 again. Go to the assign, clear, destination 7, source C, destination 8, source D. Back to the home screen, and we'll arm these two tracks. Now we need to set up send 1 for track 7. So go to the mixer screen, select track 7, make sure it's there, and send 1 we'll put to post, say. It's up to you. Turn the level up and turn master 1 up. So that's send 1 set for track 7. And I go to track 8 and do the same for send 2. Make it post. And don't forget the master. And that's all you need to do. Now you cannot hear the stereo signal in the monitor, as the monitor can only listen to either the left signal or the right signal, because they're either on send 1 or send 2. You can't listen to both at the same time. But left and right will be coming out of the machine on the two send sockets. So if you feed those to your stereo effect unit, then it will behave correctly. Now if the return signals are also stereo, then you have to treat them just like any other stereo input and split them left and right across two other inputs. And don't forget to use the panning as before. Okay, I hope that's cleared up a few things with stereo.